What's up, party people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do you go? DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote. And maybe you can have me at your next event. I like to party with the people. Yeah, video dance parties and karaoke jams, weddings. I'm booking a lot of weddings. Yay! We're breaking out of quarantine with caution, of course. Always be vigilant, especially since we have no cure or no real treatment for this novel coronavirus thing. But we're breaking out. We got to go out and play. We can't be cooped up in our houses, all by ourselves. No, we got to go out and meet the people and have some fun. So, yeah, with caution, of course. Today on the program, Amie Scheitel. Who's Amie Scheitel? Well, you're going to find out a little bit more in the next few minutes. You better know who Amie Scheitel is. But you're going to find out more. Yeah. So you got that to look forward to. Yeah. This week's shows, well, as I record this on Saturday, I got nothing going on tonight. I know I've been doing some shows at Choctaw VFW in Choctaw, Arkansas, and over at the Heber Springs VFW in Tumbling Shoals, Arkansas. Why isn't it the Tumbling Shoals VFW? I don't know. I guess it's close enough. It might be both. It's close to Heber Springs, which I guess is the slightly bigger town. But yeah, I've been doing shows over there, and shoot, anybody who wants some karaoke jams or video dance partying or some good music played at their event. Hey, I'll socially distance. I got the wipes. I'll make sure that people stay reasonably safe. Got plenty of hand sanitizer to go around. Even though what I'm hearing, hand sanitizer, it's a virus. It really, hand sanitizer is not going to kill a virus, but it'll keep you. Hopefully, you keep your hands clean, somewhat. But there's chemicals. I wonder about all the hand sanitizer that we're using, but I need to look into that a little bit more. Wash your hands with soap and water for sure, all the time. And I guess I really haven't shaken hands in a long time. A lot of people, think, oh, how come that guy doesn't shake hands? Well, I don't shake hands. I'm a fist bumper, but I guess I haven't done that in a long time. You never know where people's hands have been. Am I a germaphobe? Yeah, maybe a little bit, but maybe. All right, party people. I digress. Oh, this week's shows. I'll be at the Rab again on Friday night. Friday night! The place to be is the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. 8 p.m. until 1 in the a.m. Man, we've been having some fun there. It feels like old times. You wear your mask on the way in. You wear your mask when you're up and walking around. When you're sitting down having your drinky drinks or having your food, you can take your mask down a little bit. I think that's one of the stipulations. The mandates is if you're eating or drinking, you can take your mask down a little bit. Get access to the mouth hole. But if you're talking face to face with somebody, be vigilant. Wear the mask. Put some kind of face covering on. That way you don't spit up on people. Who knows? Hey, I may have the coronavirus and be asymptomatic and still able to spread it around. So I don't want to get anybody else sick or hurt or possibly even die. So, hey, be vigilant. All right. Without further ado, let's get into it with Amie Scheitel. Now, thankfully, due to the miracle of modern science, we can see each other face to face. So if you're listening to the audio version of this, I encourage you to check out the YouTube version of this. Head over to youtube.com /user/KeysDAN. I think you could look it up at radiowhat.com and you'll find the YouTube page out there as well. So yeah, you get to see Amie Scheitel's face right next to mine. Hers is much better than mine, I tell you. It is. It definitely is. All right. Without further ado, Skyping Amie Scheitel now. All right. Hello.
Hi.
First of all, how do you pronounce your name?
It's Amie Scheitel.
Scheitel. There's different ways. I'm sure you get it mixed. People mix it up all the time, and I don't want people to
Oh
do
yeah.
that ever, ever, ever again. Once they listen to this podcast or watch this podcast, I'm also recording video, so I'll put that up on YouTube, and people can watch the video of you, Amie Scheitel. All right.
Awesome.
Well, now that we're here, let the people know a little bit about who you are.
Well, I'm Amy, and I'm a singer-songwriter. Also a mom. I have 6 kids, uh, three of which are early adulthood, so just 3 left still at home. Um, but the reason I'm talking with you is because I'm a singer-songwriter, and although that was kind of put on hold for a good portion of my life because I was being a mom and things like that. I within the last 6 months kind of really got into the professional recording and getting music out there, and I've released a couple of songs, and so I'm kind of just getting started, and it's been going really good so far.
Amie Scheitel, this is a story that I've heard before. Is you know, well, I mean, women. It has to be mostly primarily women that go into any kind of a business, and then they put their life on hold. They put their dreams on hold to, well, I mean, you kind of turn your dreams in another direction to raise a family. I'm guessing that's the way you would probably look at it. I don't want to put words in your mouth. How would you view that when you were starting coming up and you said, "Oh, you know what? I want to pursue music," but then family. Tell the people a little bit about that journey.
Yeah. So being a mom, started at age 17, was my very first child. And, you just kind of, I guess maybe you feel like you have to put all your professional things on hold in order to focus on being the best mom that you can be. And then, just had a few more kids and, kept going with it. And I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So just kind of did that. But now I think it's great that my kids are older, and the ones that are still at home are getting to see me pursue music and see the process. And I like that they're older and kind of get to see the whole process, and maybe be a little more inspirational for them to actually get to see it, versus having pursued it when they were babies and toddlers. So,
Well, I mean,
yeah.
some people would say that's a very old-fashioned thing to have one or more parents stay home with the children, but I think that's so beneficial for the kids while they're growing up to have, especially a mom. All right, this may be controversial, but women have that maternal instinct. Traditionally they have that that way that gives. I mean, if I parented my two girls, they would be in rough shape right now. Thankfully, I have my wife that she's still got the 14-year-old in the house, and if it wasn't for her, that kid would be all kinds of badness. I'm so glad that I work 2 and maybe 3 jobs to make sure that I can keep her at home and take care of that 14-year-old. She homeschools that kid, and that kid is the much better for it. I mean, how do you feel? Do you feel like if the universe took a different journey and you went off into the world and then put the kids in daycare or had them watched by somebody else, do you envision that sometimes? Maybe your career would have been something bigger. Tell me your thoughts on that, Amie Scheitel.
Um, I don't think my career would have been bigger. I think if anything, you know, doing it that way gave me a life experience. Able to see things and go through things that I wouldn't have otherwise. Experienced, and therefore inspired. A lot of the songs that I write are, of course, about family and life and heartbreak and um, all that kind of stuff. So if I could go back in time, I don't think I'd do that journey any different.
Okay,
So
no regrets, no
yeah,
regrets at all. You've
No
raised
regret.
6
No.
beautiful kids, I'm sure. Now, all
Yes.
right, if you're just listening to the audio version, no big deal. But if you're watching the video version, you're going to notice that Amie Scheitel is really close to the camera. If you could back up like there, I could see your whole face. Look at that
Ah,
beautiful
there we go.
face. She's beautiful. There she is. Now I can see your mouth and stuff, and yeah, it's
Oh,
the
I was
full view.
hugging the camera.
Yeah, I can still hear you. I can still see you, and that's wonderful. So I encourage you, my faithful listeners, watch the YouTube version of this. It's wonderful. We're getting a little peek of her world, of her house there. I can see lots of pictures on the wall. These are things that I just haven't printed a picture in probably 10 years. Everything lives in my phone now. I miss pictures on the wall. You go to grandma's house, you go to mom's house, and you got pictures on the wall of family memories. Is that what you have behind you there? I'm looking at pictures.
I do, yes. I have pictures of family on the walls and on the fridge. And yeah, as far as actually printing photos, I just recently actually printed about 200 photos. So um, I'm excited about that. I've probably got hundreds more that need to get printed. But um, yeah, kind of inspired through my grandparents and all their photo albums that they have. And I thought, I want to leave something like that, for my kids. So
Yeah, I
gonna start
remember.
doing that more often.
I remember my aunt Baba. She was the historian of the family, and then she passed away. And my grandma Mati, she had to take over. So she has all the photo albums and all the photos and all the records. Do you have somebody in your family that keeps records of who you are, of who your family is?
As far as photos, that would be my grandma and my great grandma, and she passed away. They definitely together kept all the family photos and everything. But actually, as far as figuring out the family history and building out the trees and finding out all the fun secrets and stuff, that's actually me. I'm really into ancestry and digging that juicy information.
Well, how far have you gone back in your ancestry? I find out my wife, she goes back to Harrison, Arkansas, and even further. And one of the people in her family was supposed to sign the Declaration of Independence. Okay, there's a blank space there where one of her family members was supposed to sign. I think the son did sign, but the father has a blank space there. She has roots like an oak tree. Me, I think I went back 2 generations. I have roots like a radish. So I couldn't find that far back. How far back did you go, Amie Scheitel?
Oh, I've gone back pretty far on both my maternal and paternal side. I've gone back to 1700s, and I actually there was an old family rumor going around that we were related to Jane Fonda, and so it was a rumor, and nobody ever actually kind of dug around to figure it out. And as I was building out our tree and going through everything, I found out that we are related to Jane Fonda. So that's really cool. It's like a distant relation, like 10th cousin. They start getting into removed when that's kind of distant. But we're super excited that we can say that we are related to her. So my great grandpa's mother was her maiden name was Fonda, and so I just went off her branch and went back until we found um, it was two brothers that kind of had two branches, and we're off one branch and she's down the other branch. So
I love
yeah,
it. I don't know. That's great. That's like what do they call it? Shirt tail relatives. When they're once, twice removed, but they're still out there. It's still family. It's still kin.
yep,
It counts.
yep.
That's great.
hmm
Now, where are you located now? What part?
I am currently in Tico, Washington.
Okay, is that
It's
where
a
you're
very
always been from?
small. What's that?
Is that where you're from? Because Tico, Washington, yeah, it does sound like a small place. Tell people about Tico, and then go on.
Yeah, so Tico, Washington, which all the people who come here who don't live here call it Toccoa, but it's really Tico. It's a very small town. kind of in between Spokane, Washington, and Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Just a small farming community in kind of the wheat land. We're just surrounded by a lot of wheat. But I am actually from Southern Oregon, a town called Grants Pass, and that's where all of my mother's family all live still, and we go back every year to see family, and so that's definitely where my roots are, and you know, kind of life connections are all in Southern Oregon.
Amie Scheitel, I'm glad you said Oregon because I've been reading the news lately. I've been doing this other podcast, What Makes You Smarter. I know you've seen that, and I try to teach myself while I'm teaching others. And Portland, Oregon, has been in the news, and I don't know. I think I was saying Oregon,
Yep.
or so Oregon is the way to say it.
Yeah, we all say Oregon, but again, tourists that come, they all say Oregon.
Yeah. So you say Tico. Some people say Toccoa. Is it spelled
Yep.
a different way? Is it T? Is how's it spelled?
It's actually, yeah, it's a little confusing because it's Tekoa.
Yeah, I would probably mispronounce it as well. Thank you, Amie Scheitel. This is primarily a learning podcast. I'm learning from you. See, you're never too old to learn something new. 51 years old. I'm learning. I'm learning from you, Amie
Right,
Scheitel. So,
right. Yeah,
if you do stop learning, if you think you know it all, then you're no good to anybody. You have to
that's true.
keep learning. So speaking of learning, the kids are growing up. You could brag on the kids. The oldest one, I mean, as he or she was growing up, you could tell. How was it growing up well, pretty much with a kid. Having a kid at such a young age, you have a child, and then you're growing up along with them. How was that journey?
Um, it was a little rough with my oldest. I was still pretty young, and we actually, my very oldest, who's in their 20s now, they were actually adopted by my grandmother from about 7 months old. And so she raised him from about 7 months old on. And we was an open family adoption. So we stayed very involved. Um, and then my second oldest, and all the rest, I raised. It's hard when you have a kid really young, and at that time, I just felt like I wasn't quite old enough, but definitely wanted to still give him the best life possible. And I think my grandma definitely did that. She takes care of, I think, everyone in our family at one time or another. I've lived with her before. So we're all really blessed to have her. And yeah, having kids at a young age is a learning experience. But I also grew up with a really large family. So really used to big families and having lots of kids. And yeah.
Amie Scheitel, this is painting a picture of you. It's making a puzzle. We're kind of putting all the pieces together of how you became a country music artist. Having different kinds of family and even family together and experiences. This is all what forms into songwriting, and this is, I'm guessing, what gave you the breadcrumbs to become who you are today. And that's why I'm kind of digging into the family life and the history of you and how people become who they are. Because I'm no songwriter, I'm no singer. I try my hand at karaoke on Friday nights, but I don't have that ability, and I want to know how that ability comes in, and hopefully the listeners who somebody's thinking about becoming a singer, a songwriter. What does it take? Does it take having these experiences, or do you think that anyone can do it, and be great at it, if they work hard at it? What do you think, Amie Scheitel?
I think that I don't think that anyone can just be a songwriter. I think that it's just something that some people kind of have within themselves to do that. Um, I think it does take life experiences to write songs, and but also, a lot of networking and skill building. For me, even when I write songs now, I still have various resources where, I'll have them do lyric critiquing and feedback. Always being able to accept constructive criticism from others in the music industry. And then, as a songwriter, beyond just writing a song, you then need to seek out and make professional recordings. And, that's what they want in Nashville now. They want a good, solid demo if you're pitching to another artist. So you kind of have to really get out there and meet a lot of people in the industry. Um, you know, uh, and then as far as releasing songs yourself, a lot of work with that too, as far as getting in with, distribution and, getting your song out on iTunes. And there's just a lot of things going on behind the curtain to make all that happen. Um, but I will say, and I know I heard on your recent podcast with Jennifer Malott, um, I'm also with ISSA, the International Singer Songwriter Association. Um, and they have really helped me. I kind of went into it not knowing a whole lot about all the things that I needed to do to get music out there. And they definitely helped me get in touch with all the people to make everything happen. Um,
Yeah,
so,
as I'm learning more and more about them, I think that they're very helpful. I mean, some people were very leery about signing on the dotted line and giving their information to somebody else, but it seems like this ISSA is legit. So I'm glad that
oh,
you're
yeah.
saying that, and Jennifer Blah definitely, and other artists that I've had on the podcast have told me a little bit about what goes on over there. But you, all right, I want to know. I mean, you definitely learned from a young age that it's a group effort. You have to have help doing things, whether it be raising children or getting your music out there to the world. It all parallels in that respect. And did you start doing music at an early age in Oregon? What was the first thing that you did? Were you playing music, or were you writing poetry, or trying to make songs? What were you doing as a young Amie?
Yeah. So as a young Amy, I was always into poetry, also always in choir. I was in the Idaho State Choir at one point, and we all, as a group, got to sing for the Idaho governor. So that was fun. I actually, we used to do a lot of traveling when I was younger. And I remember writing a song when I was sitting in the back of the car, just writing a song when I was around 12 years old. And so that song's been in my head ever since then. It's the Fairgrounds of 95. um, is actually about my sister meeting a carnival worker at a balloon booth. Um, and kind of their little love story at that time. So yeah, I started just writing songs when I was young, and kind of always wrote songs and never did a whole lot with them, but they've always just kind of been in my head. So yeah. I also love karaoke, and I know that's something that they say people. I don't know. There's a stereotype out there that people that don't sing good do karaoke, but I will tell you, I've heard some really good singers that do karaoke.
Yeah, that's a big
So
stigma, Amie Scheitel. When I
yeah.
was when I was living in Miami, I had all the karaoke songs. I didn't do a lot of karaoke shows down there. I was living in Miami in the Florida Keys. I did a lot of weddings, DJing parties, and stuff like that. But I didn't do a lot of karaoke. But then I moved to Conway, Arkansas, Central Arkansas, and karaoke is the thing. I mean, as soon as I got here, pretty much they said, "Hey, you're a DJ. You just moved here. Can you do karaoke? I need something in my business." And yeah, there's those people that don't sing very well, but you got to cheer them on. They're getting up in front of people. They're overcoming their fears, and they're having a good time doing it. So I'm all for them. Kudos. I definitely don't sing
Right.
well. I have my 80s songs, my go-tos that I go to. And there is a stigma for somebody who's a professional singer-songwriter, such as yourself, to go to a karaoke show. Because if you look on Instagram and YouTube, sometimes you'll say, "Oh, Katy Perry was caught at karaoke, or I don't even know, Taylor Swift was over at karaoke. Ooh, Burn, and they were singing somebody else's song, but I think they were just having fun. But there's a stigma when somebody gets to be at that level. When you're at your level, you're definitely at that level where you're a singer songwriter. I mean, how often do you go to a karaoke show and sing for the people?
Yeah, I go pretty often. I just love karaoke, and I'll go even if I was, Miranda Lambert status. I would still go to karaoke because I love it and it's fun. And you kind of always want to go back to where you start. Um, it's fun to go back to where you start, and it's fun to see other people that are just starting and kind of starting to pursue their singing. And a lot of it starts at karaoke. So yeah, super fun.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess that's the other way to go, because there's open mics for singer songwriters. If anybody's ever seen, what is it, Coyote Ugly, you'll see that she
Yeah.
goes to open mics and tries to put her song out there, and just, oh my goodness, it's so scary to have this thing that's so brand new. It's like, well, I mean, I got a mother of six. I talk to a lot of men, and we don't know how it is to raise a child, but you putting out this song to the world, oh my goodness, it's like, here's my baby. Please say it's beautiful. Please say it's wonderful. And I want it to grow into something big. How do you liken that, this putting out a song to the world?
Yeah, it's been a learning experience, but each time that I put out a song, it gets better and better. So there's a couple that I through ISSA, I was told about this place called Songwriters Portal, and they are super awesome. So what they do is take songs that I write and want to pitch out to other artists. They also do demos. So I work with them for that. And then I also work with, you've probably heard of Two Cats Music. I'm pretty sure he worked with Jennifer Malott on her recent song. Love that song, by the way. What's it called? I'm
Well, you
having a blank right
promise.
now.
You promise, I think.
I Promise,
I
or You
promise.
Promise.
You promise. One of
Yeah.
those.
Yeah, it's one of those, but oh, it's great. I've listened to it like 50 times so far. But I work with him when I'm recording songs that I'm putting out. And I did recently put out kind of a bluegrass song called New Hope Road. And so that's out on all the platforms, iTunes and all that kind of stuff. Um, yeah, that song was actually inspired by my great grandparents. They lived in Southern Oregon and had a huge farm, and they lived on New Hope Road, and all the family would go out there for all the family gatherings. And they're both passed away now. They both got Alzheimer's, dementia, and they're both in heaven now. But I just wanted to write a song about them because they were, so influential in all of our lives, and I feel like they deserve something for future generations to kind of listen to and get to hear about, them. And so that's what the song is inspired about, is my great grandparents and the road that they lived on, which was New Hope Road.
Amie Scheitel, a
So
lot of music, not, particularly country music, but a lot of music is storytelling. And I'm so glad that you delved into this New Hope Road. I was watching the lyric video, and I'm amazed, and I'm watching the lyrics as they're popping up on the screen. And if you haven't done so, go ahead and go to Amie Scheitel's YouTube page. She's got she's got a few subscribers. She's got one extra one. That's me. And there's the visuals are kind of beautiful. I want to get into where the visuals came from, but the lyrics, they seem so personal. Was every lyric in that, the green water, the front porch with the, I guess there's a green pond, there's a quiet river, the just so many different things. Take me down my gravel driveway, take me back to New Hope Road. Is this all true stories, or kind of embellished a little bit? Tell the people a little bit about how that song came about.
yeah, it's actually all very, very near and dear to my heart, and all very true. Yeah, as far as like the gravel driveway, she had this super long gravel driveway from New Hope Road up to her farmhouse. and we used to ride our bikes down that road when we were kids. And so I just you always knew when you were at grandma's house because you get to that dirt road and you know you're going to great grandma's house. Um, she had a beautiful green pond in her backyard, and it had a amazing willow tree hanging over the pond. We all would go fishing in the pond. Um, my uncles were always trying to catch the big fish in the pond, and I remember catching catfish and bluegill myself. So we also would float on there was a wooden raft in the pond, and I know I mentioned that in the song too. Um, so just a lot of memories there. My cousin's ashes were actually put in the pond also. So it's just a really significant, you know, memory for our family. But yeah, the song, there's all little bits and pieces in there. I know about, there's a point where it says, when memories fade, just open the family albums. When I'm lost, that's how I find my way back. And that is directly associated with, both of my grandparents getting Alzheimer's. And again, just kind of going back to how saving memories can help you, remember and so yeah. As far as the video, I had a wonderful videographer help me on that video. And I just kind of, let him know what kind of things I wanted to really help show or express the lyrics of the song. And so I was really happy with his work. And I actually found him on Fiverr, believe it or not. Have you ever been there to Fiverr?
No, I'm not a
No?
singer
You'll have
songwriter
to
like
check
you,
that out.
Amie Scheitel. You're the one that's the pro in this biz. But no, I appreciate that.
You'll have to check that out. Yeah, it's a really good resource for people, all kinds of talented people on there offering their services to others, whether it's making videos or helping make ads or writers for even social media, for helping make social media ads. They're a really great resource, and they're good for your budget.
Yay! Now, Amie Scheitel, I mean, you're hitting the nails on the head. The experiences that you had with your grandparents as they're deteriorating. I remember my grandma and grandpa. I mean, my grandma is still around. I'm 51. She is 91 years old. Now, my grandfather, he passed away a long time ago, back in the mid 90s, and he was the strongest man in the world to me. He worked at the airport in baggage handling. Oh, you always feel like, oh, Poppy, he is the strongest man in the world. And then lung cancer
Mhm.
deteriorates. He starts to deteriorate, and you start to remember him. Oh, I don't know if I remember him when he was the strongest man in the world. And you have to have that those images in your mind. And thankfully, to keep your grandparents' memory alive, you've got this song. It's got to be so near and dear to you. Tell me your experience with Alzheimer's. Did they both start experiencing some kind of dementia at the same time? Start forgetting things? What was the early onset for you? When did you start realizing, or the family start realizing it, Amie Scheitel?
Yeah, my great grandpa, he actually got it first, and they actually caught it pretty early on for him. When he just kind of was having some little forgetful things, but they found it super early for him. So my grandma was prepared that she was going to have that journey with him, and uh, she took care of him the entire time until he passed away. And the one thing that I think was hard and kind of sad for the family was that eventually they did have to get rid of the farm and sell that house, and that they had for my entire life. Um, they did have to sell it and get rid of it because they needed something smaller in order to be able to kind of navigate the Alzheimer's process and everything. Um, then after he passed away, and I will say she took care of him at her house up until his last breath and going to heaven. So awesome woman for that. And yeah. Then my grandma got Alzheimer's, and she lived until she was in her 90s. And you know, my grandma, her daughter, and some other family then helped take care of her. And so she was there in my grandma's living room up until she went to heaven, and all the family surrounding her. And um, the interesting thing about Alzheimer's and dementia is, even though they forget a lot of things, they still remember a lot of things, and they kind of go back to like their earlier years, and they start talking a lot about their earlier years. And but even with that going on up until her last days, she was a really religious woman, and she still was laying there, as frail as she was, and lifting up her arms and praising God, and she was ready to go to heaven. And yeah, it was uh, definitely an experience. And yeah.
I see that in movies all the time. It gets visualized where they'll have their son in the room and kind of recognize him as their husband. Hey Bobby, no, it's John. I'm your son. I'm not Bobby, your husband. I'm your son. They do regress, so that's a typical thing. Or at least it was in your experience. And, I'm kind of fascinated with Alzheimer's and the brains and your mind. If my mind starts to go, I think that's the most prized possession that you have in your whole life is your ability to think and to discern things and to have intelligence. And that starts to go. I don't know my quality of life. I hope that never happens to me. Yeah, are there treatments for it? I mean, once your grandfather started to go, I mean, was there doctors that gave him medicine or some kind of memory exercises? Because I've been told that people that read nuns in that read the Bible all the time, and I know you mentioned heaven quite a few times in this. That I want to go into the religious aspects of your psyche and how you grew up that way, but people that read the Bible and read in particular keep their minds straight. The neurons are keep firing. Did you learn anything about Alzheimer's while you were having this experience with them?
I know that they did try some medications, and they do see doctors, and they try to, just do a lot of exercises to keep the memory working and things. But there's not really any cure, so it's kind of, um, I hope they find a cure sometime. But as far as a lot of reading and things like that, they both that's one of the things that they did every morning was read the Bible, and also the daily bread was a huge thing. And they kind of, I think, passed that on throughout the family, because I read the daily bread too, and it's because I saw my grandparents doing it. So yeah, there's not a cure, but I hope someday that there is a cure for that.
Yeah, I think that's what it is when the neurons stop firing in one direction. They think that doing the exercising, the reading in particular, it starts to help other pathways go around those spots where they stop firing. Same thing with people that have epilepsy. I think there's similar. People that are listening to this and watching this, I'm a moron. My medical expertise is very slim. I was an EMT 20 years ago. Okay, so yeah, that's done with me. But I know that you help people too. You take care of people. Besides doing the singing and songwriting, you take care of people. Do you want to delve into that, or what? How so? How do you? Because I think I was looking at something on your Facebook where you take. Are you in the medical field at all, or something like that?
Well, actually, I was in the medical field. I went to college for patient access rep. Um, so I was a medical receptionist, and I also have been a chronic care professional. Working with people that to overcome kind of chronic lifestyles in order to better their health. but I actually, due to an autoimmune condition, I actually have connective tissue disease, which is also called like a silent lupus. So I have that. And I also, in the past couple of years, had thyroid cancer twice. And so, yeah, so kind of because of those things combined, I actually stopped working and became partially kind of disabled, mainly due to the connective tissue disease. Um, then that's actually when I decided, you know, now I have all this time and now I need to do something. And so that's when I really started to go ahead and get into pursuing all of the musical side of me. But yeah, I did work in the medical field for a while and just unfortunately had to kind of walk away from that. But yeah, helping people has definitely always been a part of me and what I love to do.
Yeah, I was an EMT firefighter for 10 years, 89 to 99. I was working at the hospital in the emergency room from was it 97 to 2004. So yeah, that part of my life is over, but you didn't stop working. You just changed directions.
Right.
You've put all your mental abilities and your physical abilities into songwriting. I mean, so when, I mean, man, tell me about some of the stuff that you've gone through and how to treat that kind of thing, the lupus and the fibers, and tell me about that. What is all that about?
Yeah. So with the autoimmune condition, there's a lot of autoimmune conditions out there that kind of where your body attacks your body. It recognizes your body to be something foreign and then it attacks it. So the connective tissue disease actually took a really long time to get diagnosed, and there are a lot of like ruling out everything else. So I just saw a lot of different doctors and specialists before they finally were able to, through the ruling out process and blood work and a lot of other tests, to figure out the connective tissue disease. Um, just it just means basically that I have to take things slower than other people. So I can't go run a marathon, and I can't, the weather affects me, cold weather, hot weather, humidity. I need more sleep. If basically if I don't, take care to kind of take it slow like that, the next day, say if I go and do something very physically strenuous, I'll just really be sore and kind of feel almost like fluish the next day. And then it's also your body is fighting a lot of inflammation, and so it's just kind of makes you tired and weak and fatigued and things like that. And I actually kind of was going through that whole process of finding all that out right after I had just got done. I got diagnosed with the thyroid cancer in 2017. And so um, they call that the good cancer, believe it or not.
Oh,
If there's a cancer, they call it the good cancer because it's like, you know, I guess if you're going to get cancer, it's the we want to get thyroid cancer.
no, thank you.
But yeah. So they took out one side of my thyroid. And then 2 years later, the other side just started growing. And see, they follow up with ultrasounds. And then that side was growing faster than the other side. And so 2 years later to the day almost, I had the other side taken out. So I didn't have to have any chemotherapy or anything like that because it didn't spread into the lymph nodes of the neck. But it's definitely something that I'll always have to continue to have my neck monitored, just to make sure there's nothing happening in the lymph nodes and stuff like that. I just don't have a thyroid, is all. So, uh,
What does that do for
that,
you having no thyroid? What is that controlling? Is because is it weight?
everything.
Is it weight, or
Yeah.
is it's a lot of different
Yeah, your
things?
thyroid actually controls almost every other part of your body. You need it for so many things. But so when you don't have a thyroid, you have to take a pill every day. It's a thyroid kind of replacement, so that your body thinks you still have a thyroid. If you don't, well, ultimately you can't not take it. You won't live because you have to have it to live. But if you didn't take it for a while, you would be very tired. You start losing a bunch of hair. Your skin goes crazy. Your heart goes bonkers. Um, I did have a couple periods of SVTs, uh, which is like I may say this wrong, like supraventricular tachycardia episodes where your heart starts racing. And that can happen when your thyroid isn't regulated. So definitely took a couple of years to get all that figured out and get that, regulated and, um, with the help of doctors and stuff. But I feel really good. Right now, I feel pretty good, considering all that. So, yeah.
Amie Scheitel, this is all experiences. This is all your life that you're able to put down into words and formulate them into songs. This is, just fascinating to me. I mean, when you wake up, are you in pain? Are you stiff? Or, until you get up and stretch, or what's your morning routine to get yourself through all this? When you wake up?
Yeah. So I definitely need a lot of sleep. So I try to go to bed at a decent hour and sleep in a little bit in the morning. So I kind of get up. This morning I got up early for this special podcast, but normally I actually sleep in until about 10 or 11. Yeah, a lot of extra hydrating. Yes, with body stiffness, your body's kind of stiffer and sore, and there's I take some medications that help with decreasing inflammation, and then the most important one that I'm on is actually to protect your body. It protects your organs from your body attacking those, because just like with people that have full blown lupus, connective tissue disease is the same, where it'll attack your body's organs. So they do have this, and it's funny because you've probably heard about this medication because it's one of the things that they were talking about with the coronavirus, but it's Plaquenil, also known as hydrochloroquine. So I take that, and that helps protect my organs and whatnot. Um, but also nutritional things, keep on vitamins and nutrition shakes, and um, being careful when you go out in the sun because you have sensitivities to sunlight. But also being in the sun is good in its way. So yeah.
Oh, okay. So the sun is good for you, or it's bad for you? Are you able to go out?
Yeah, both. So people that have these autoimmune conditions, a lot of times when you go out in the sun, if you're not protecting your skin, you'll see people that get the rashes. They call it the butterfly rash. The sun can trigger that and make it just kind of come out of nowhere, and so that happens. So a lot of times people always say, "Oh, you have really rosy cheeks." So sometimes it's more noticeable than others, but it is kind of the butterfly rash that goes across your face there. Um, and then also you can get uh, burnt way easier than other people by being in the sun. So yes, you do still want to go out in the sun because it gets a natural source of vitamin D, but at the same time you want to be wearing high grade sunscreen, protecting yourself from getting burnt and things like that. But yeah, the facial rash is the big thing because it can trigger that face rash.
Wow, what a sign that you say, oh, somebody will tell you, oh, you got rosy cheeks. You go, ooh, I got to put some of that sunscreen on. My goodness. But yeah, you're right about the vitamin D going out in the sun. I've been listening to podcasts and hearing a lot of good things. Yeah, yeah, vitamin D, duh. Yeah, that's what's good for your immune system as we're going through
Oh
this
yeah.
novel COVID-19 coronavirus. But sounds like you're pretty much immune to it. You got that hydrochloroquine running through your veins. No.
Yep.
I mean, is it I guess the science is still out on whether that's really a good treatment or not.
Right.
So,
Right. But when I heard that, I was like, ooh, maybe I have a little extra protection there.
yeah. So, all right.
Yeah.
You're in Tico, Washington. How has it
Yep.
been? How have you been holding up? I guess we can go through what's going on today. The coronavirus. How's the situation up there in Tico, Washington, and then Washington as a whole state?
Yeah. Well, I am so glad that I live here while this is going on because it's such a small town. I don't know what the population is. It's probably less than 800, but it's so small that um, you know it's not the worry of like when you're going over to say Spokane. Um, but people here are really friendly and respectful, and the ones that choose to wear masks wear them, and the ones that don't are still keeping their distance. Their social distancing. Um, I've definitely noticed a decrease in like the buzz of around town. There's less people and things like that. But also, the other thing that with all the like, there's protests like every day somewhere around in the bigger cities for one reason or another. Whether it's like because the mask mandate, or the other things going on. So I'm just really thankful to live here where I don't have to worry about any of that stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
being from
yeah,
Miami, that was a huge town, and now I'm in a smaller big town. I guess we have 50,000 people, as far as the sign has said for the last 10 years. So maybe the new census will show different. But I'm vigilant. I have a mask. If I'm next to somebody, maybe I'll slip it on. If I'm going to the grocery store, it's been mandated. I think living in D.C. In Washington D.C. They have to wear masks all the time now. That's the mandate. While you're driving in your car by yourself, put a mask on. While you're walking in the park with nobody else around, put a mask on. It maybe some things might be a little too much, but then some things might not be enough. You got to find that balance in the middle. It's not like there's not other diseases around. It just happens to be that this one has no cure and no real treatment for it. So we got to be a little more vigilant of it. Come on, scientists, work. I know they're out there
right.
working, getting going for that cure. I think that Dr. Fauci said, maybe the beginning of next year, but certainly the having a lot of doses by the end of next year. Don't even expect it until the end of 2021. But but
Yeah,
I digress. I mean, going through these are all life experiences that you can turn into songs with your talent, Amie Scheitel. And I know
yeah.
that you have that New Hope Road. What other songs have you had? Because I was looking at your YouTube and I was trying to find some other songs, some other original songs that you've made. But really, is New Hope Road the one, or is Dusty Diamond one of your songs as
Uh,
well?
yeah. So the very first song that I did, with professional recording is Dusty Diamond. And so Dusty Diamond was put out, but that one is being pitched out for another artist to pick up. So I had a studio singer sing that. So that I did write that one, and you got to listen to the lyrics on that one, and you'll know from talking to me today what that kind of how that one all came about. Um, Throw a little heartbreak in there, but you'll understand probably most of the lyrics. Um, so that was the first one. Then New Hope Road. That was the first one that I put out with me as the artist. And then I have Best Man out there, but that one is a male singer, and that one's also being pitched out. Um, I did post that one on my personal Facebook page. It's tricky when you write songs you're going to pitch out to other artists because you don't want to really like blast them out there because the artist kind of wants it to be special and not been blasted out everywhere. So, but right now I'm working on a new song that I'm going to be putting out, working with Two Cats Music. And that one is called Glass Half Full. So that one's going to be out soon.
That's
I'd
an
say around the end of August, beginning of September.
That's an age-old question that you've heard, your whole life. Is glass half empty, glass half full? I guess what is it? The pessimist says glass half empty. The optimist says glass half full. The engineer
Yes.
says, "Hey, that glass is twice as big as it needed to be."
Yep.
So
Yeah.
so
And
glass
so
half
yeah,
full.
that song is for the people that need to look at the glass half full.
Yeah. So would you consider yourself an optimist with the life that you've had? Do you feel like hey, always keep a bright shining face, or What will you consider yourself?
Yeah, definitely an optimist. I try to always, look at the bright side of things, and usually if something bad happens, I always am kind of like, okay, what am I supposed to learn through this? You know, there's something to be learned through everything, and that's what the saying that you're supposed to grow through what you go through is kind of how I see it. So, um, no matter what happens, I'm going to come out of it stronger and learning some kind of an lesson to make me grow as a person.
Yeah, there are no failures. There are no mistakes. They're learning experiences. That's all they are. You can learn from
Right.
them and grow and become a better person and do great things. So, tell me, what's the response on the New Hope Road? I'm looking at it and I'm listening to it. It's a story. It is just a story. And all right, I know that you were in choir in high school and you sang in front of the governor, and that had to give you some confidence there, singing with a group of people. Did you ever have any solos in the choir?
No, that choir, no solos in that choir, but like singing in front of the governor was still great. Um, I'm trying to think as far as any solos. I had solos in other like school choir. We did a Christmas solo one year. Um, and then like again with the karaoke that getting up and singing karaoke or whatever. But no solos in the state choir.
No, Amie Scheitel. What I'm trying to get at is, yeah, you had this song "Dusty Diamond." You had somebody else sing it, a studio performer. But then New Hope Road, you said, I'm going to do this one myself. I'm going to put it out to the world. Potentially millions and millions of people are going to be listening to you sing. What gave you
Right.
that courage, the strength to go out and say, "Yeah, I'm going to do this one on my own." Go. How did that come about?
Yeah, actually, I think sometimes when I look back, I'm like, I should have probably released Dusty Diamond as myself because it's a very personal song to me. And I think, I could have done it. I was a little nervous. I think there was a little part of me that was nervous about putting a song out there for everybody to hear. And like, is it good enough? Like, but when I went to Ben Travis with Two Cats Music with New Hope Road, originally I was going to have somebody else sing it. But I sang it for, I sang it so he could hear it and how it went. And actually, it was really his encouragement that gave me the courage to do it. He was like, I like your voice. It sounds good. He's like, it really suits this song well. And um, encouraged me to even sing in a lower key that I normally do because I tend to have a higher voice and sing in a higher key. But, it was his encouragement. And then working with him, even though a lot of it was virtual because of the coronavirus, um, that process really gave me the courage to keep going and release more songs. With, yeah, it's amazing what they can do, with your voice and just all the recording and everything that goes into it. So I definitely owe him credit for that, though. I don't know if he knows that he kind of helped me come out of my shell with that, but he definitely did.
Well, he will now when he listens to this podcast, and you're
Yeah.
giving the people gems. It's not a solo project. It's you got to have people. You got to have friends and family and professional business associates to help you along. And without that courage, without that extra push, you might have had somebody else sing it. I'm going back to Coyote Ugly when Piper Paraboo's character, she's singing the song on her own at her open mic, and oh my goodness, I'm singing, and I hope somebody enjoys this. And then what was it? Leanne Rhymes takes the song and makes it her
Yeah.
own, and really, that's a great song. Can't Fight the Moonlight. I mean, I imagine you, Amie Scheitel, and well, I guess there's another side of the coin when was it Megan Trainor? She's a singer songwriter or a songwriter, and then she
Mhm.
sang that song on her own, thinking that she was going to sell it to somebody else, but she ended up putting it out to the world as herself, and fame, fortune. These are the shots that you're
Yeah.
taking. out there to the world. I mean, Amie Scheitel, do you think that version? I mean, are you hopeful that your own personal version becomes huge, or would you rather be that person behind the scenes that wants to sell it to somebody else, or write things for other people? Because there's two different kinds of people. I mean, and both are great.
Yeah, I really feel like I'm both. Like I am passionate about both. Um, for example, the song that I wrote, Best Man. I'll have to send you the link to listen to that one. Um, I couldn't sing that song because it's definitely meant for a male voice. Um, but it's a really great song, and I know somebody else is going to definitely do that song justice. Even the I don't know who they had sing it. Songwriters Portal did the demo for me, and they did an amazing job. They have a really great singer singing that. He sounds like he should be famous, and I don't know who he was, but he's great. I definitely like doing both. There's some things that I think I think God gives you writing skills to give to other people to be able to kind of go out and inspire people with what they're singing. And he also gives you things that you're meant to sing and release to people. And, so definitely right smack in the middle for both of those.
Man, yeah, I just wonder. And okay, so you say you sing in a lower a lower key, and it's a man song. But hey, one of my karaoke go tos is "Stand by Your Man." I love that song only because the Blues Brothers did it, but I'll still do Tanya's version of it because hey, that's the one I have on my karaoke machine, and it sounds the best. So I sing "Stand by Your Man," and I don't change any of the words. Sometimes it's hard to be a woman, giving all your love to just one man.
Right.
People look at me funny, but hey, it's fun having a good time. What's your go-to karaoke song before we go any further?
Yeah. I always do usually Martina McBride or Faith Hill type songs.
They
Um,
got like 100 hits each. Which one?
Yeah. So let's see here. I've done "It Matters to Me," "A Broken Wing," um,
That's a
also
hard one.
the "Strawberry Wine." Those kind of songs.
Yeah, Broken Wing. My goodness, that one has some. Ooh, some. I mean, Strawberry Wine. I think almost every female that comes in thinks they can do that song justice, and
Yep.
most of them do. They kind of stay in that level range. There's some high parts in there, but that Broken Wing, if you do it right, ooh, the people are going to go, yeah, Amie
Yeah.
Scheitel.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
we
That's a good one.
Oh, for sure. But we've mentioned God many times throughout this podcast. And how did you grow up with God, going to church? Was because hey, the God and country music go together like well, bullets and guns. Should I even
Oh yeah.
put that analogy together? Out of salt and pepper, peanut butter and banana fried banana sandwiches.
Right.
Elvis Presley. No. But tell me, growing up, I mean, was it always religion? From your grandma to other people in the family.
Yeah. Going to church as a kid. My grandma, always a religious woman, as was my great grandparents. We all grew up going to the same church, Cornerstone Church in Oregon, and I was involved in the youth group, and went to this thing called Rock the Nations one year in
What's Rock the
Pasadena,
Nations?
California. So yeah, definitely grew up with um, Sunday school and all that, and Jesus believers and Bible readers, and I know I mentioned the Daily Bread, so that's this little book that my grandma read it, my great grandma read it, and I read it, and it's a good way to start the morning with little devotional from the Daily Bread, and um, yeah, definitely,
Well, I know that it
definitely
gave
a
your
Jesus believer.
yeah, it gave your grandparents hope as they were leaving this mortal coil. It gave them hope that they were going to be going to a better place, a different place, to be with their creator, with the Lord, with the God, with Yahweh, Jehovah, whoever it may be. But they were, faithful that they were going to be going to a better place. And I think that might have given them comfort. I mean, would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I said, I even have a picture of my great grandma when she was in her last days in my grandma's living room. They had like a kind of a hospital bed just in the living room there. And, like I said, even with her last days and having full on, dementia and Alzheimer's, she still was lifting her hands up and praising God. And so I definitely think that she had peace and she knew where she was going, and she was looking forward to going to heaven. And I think it also makes it easier on family as well when they also believe in the same thing. And you know I think that's really, I don't know how non-believers get through, especially death. It'd be really hard. But for us, definitely, it's easier when they're going to a better place.
Yeah, nobody could say for sure if there's a God or no God, or if there is a heaven or no heaven. Nobody can say for sure because I've never died. I don't know for sure. Anybody who for sure there's not this or there is that. Nobody knows for sure, but you have to have your
Right.
faith, and you've had
Yeah.
that faith growing up as a child. Have you instilled that faith on the six of your own?
Yeah. They definitely have grown up, learning the same things, but also at the same time, yeah, I am one of the what kind of parents that I believe that they have a right to go into their journey and decide for themselves what they want to believe in. And but they definitely know the foundation that I was raised on, and as far as all that goes. But I do also encourage them to go out and explore and figure things out for themselves and make their personal decision. You know.
Well, Amie Scheitel, you're walking the walk. You got the daily bread sitting right there next to you, within arm's length, and even able to show it on the video version of this podcast. And that says something about you as well. You have that faith, you have that hope, and that gives you optimism as well. That has to help in your optimism. Is no
Mhm.
matter how bad things go, hey, I got faith. I think things are going to be reasonably well eventually, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, I mean, and the glass half full thing, I definitely want to go, since we're talking about the optimism. I mean, how soon is that one to be released? I know that there's little hints and stuff that it's coming soon. Stay tuned to Amie Scheitel music. It's coming soon. I mean,
Right.
what's the journey of that song? And was that produced at the same place?
Yeah. So, yeah, I pretty much stick with Two Cats when it's songs I'm releasing as myself, and the songwriters portal for songs that I'm going to be, hoping for other artists to pick up. So I'm working with that right now with Two Cats Music. Because of the coronavirus, it's a little tricky. We do have some live, like a live drummer and a live guitar player, and so we're kind of all trying to connect and get it all together. And he's in Nashville and I'm in Washington, and all this is happening, and we're creating this song. I'm estimating it'll be ready by middle to end of August.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first time I heard of that internet thing, and this is before coronavirus. This is like last year. I'm talking to a gentleman from Australia, somewhere near the beach in Australia. I guess the whole thing is an island, so there must be beach places everywhere. But he's the singer and the guitarist, and he's songwriter, and but then his bassist is in the Middle East, and his drummer was in Germany, and they would lay down all their different pieces, and then they would send them to him, and he would mix them down in Australia with like a producer. This is the first time I hear that the internet could be. Hey, the internet can be used for good, for good,
Yeah.
not just
Mhm.
evil. But you say that you've pitched some songs. Have you? Has anybody taken any bites? You used to go fishing in that green pond with your family there, yeah, but now you're fishing with these songs that you've been writing. Anybody taking nibbles? Anybody bought any songs out there that are coming?
Yeah, well, the cool thing with Songwriters Portal is every single time it's pitched, I can log in and see it, but I also get an email. So I know that both songs, Dusty Diamond and Best Man, they're both being pitched out a lot. They also, anytime a producer listens to the song, I get notified. So they've both been out there. Dusty Diamond's been out there since I think since May, and then Best Man's been out there for I think around 2 months. So they're being heard. You know, it might be a little process, a little hard to get a cut, but I really think that it's going to happen. Who knows when, but I think it's going to happen, and I don't think I could be with any better place than Songwriters Portal. They're getting the songs out there, and it takes the right singer at the right time. They hear the song and they're like, "Yep, that's the song I need to release right now." So just waiting for the right artist and the right producer to hear the song, and but they're definitely getting heard. They're not sitting in a pile collecting dust.
Amie Scheitel, like I say, you're sitting on the side of that green pond with your fishing pole in hand. That bobber keeps going up and down. Yeah, nibble. Got a little bite, little bite. You're waiting for that big catfish to grab a hold and reel him in, and then you'll have a nice good meal of that catfish. Oh, taking it
Right.
good. I've learned so much from you, Amie Scheitel. I mean, so many different directions, different avenues. Anything else you want to explore as we wind this thing down? You can brag about your
Uh,
kids. You can brag about the people that you work with.
yeah, just again, there's I do want to give a shout out to I'm going to get his last name wrong, so I'm going to look at it while I'm talking to you. I met somebody on social media just kind of through all my networking process, and this gentleman's been really helpful as far as just kind of telling you what to watch out for and what to look for. And he also is really good about introducing, this music professional to another music professional. Earl Keith, uh, he also writes songs. I don't know exactly where he is in his journey as far as releasing songs and getting them out there, but he's been writing songs for a really long time. Earl Keith, and he lives over. What does he live? He lives kind of over in the Arkansas area. But really helpful guy. He's on a lot of the groups on Facebook, the music groups and all that kind of stuff. But a shout out to him because he's been really helpful with just, information. He's like a encyclopedia when it comes to like registering your songs, the BMI, for example. That's kind of scary in itself for new people that don't know what they're doing, but he's been really helpful with all that kind of stuff. So shout out to Earl Keith.
Earl Keith, and here I am in Arkansas. We're pretty tight knit. I know a lot of the people in the music community here. So yeah, I need to find this person and putting your
Oh
music
yeah,
out to BMI. That's how you get paid. That's how an
yes,
artist gets paid. Is that having that service? I guess they get paid a little bit. They get a few pennies here and there, but then they got to make sure that the artist gets theirs as well. And that's man, that's an important thing. So yeah, good job, Earl Keith. Any other people
right.
you want to shout out? Anybody else you want to talk about?
Just to thank you to my mom and my grandma and my great grandparents because without them and instilling all their values and morals and the foundations, I wouldn't be who I am today. They're also my biggest fans, of course, is my family. So just thankful to all of them for being encouraging and throughout the process and everything. So, and thank you to you for having me on your podcast. It's my first podcast, so uh, maybe I'll do more.
Yeah, my goodness. You've been a pleasure to talk to and to learn from, and you never know where these things are going to go. I mean, we talked about different. You think, oh, I'm going to talk about my music, but no, we talked about Alzheimer's and different diseases and ailments and how you've been going through, and how they've affected you. So I mean, there's different aspects. I want to know about the person, not just the music or what they do, because we're more than just that little thing in the box. And you know what's funny is I have you on my broadcast software, and anybody watching the video, you are actually in a box right next to me, right there. So,
Mhm.
but but we have to. We're more than just what people see on social media and out there in the world. We're a lot of different things. I may look like a white guy, but I'm half Cuban, half Irish. I'm more than those things. I can identify as a guy who likes to speak into microphones, the guy who likes music, the guy who likes talking to different people and learning more. So there's different avenues, different aspects of who we are. But yeah, so tell more. I mean, are there any other avenues you want to explore? If not, we can. Definitely tell about the social media and how people can connect with you, Amie Scheitel.
Yeah. So I have a Facebook page called Amie Scheitel Music. I just made a Twitter. Um, you had suggested Twitter. I didn't have a Twitter before that.
Yeah, because that's
So
how I
that one's
tag you
new
when
and
I
I'm
play
learning.
when I play your songs on radiowhat.com. I put the little Twitter feed on there. That way every time it gets played, it gets hit. It gives you a little something to retweet. Oh, look, he's playing my song on the radiowhat.com. Look at that. So yes,
Right.
but Twitter is kind of
Yeah,
a,
which
a
is cool.
conversation with people all over the world. It can be toxic. It can be. So try not to follow things that are too toxic for you, too aggressive. But certainly I've been following a lot of artists, and anybody that follows me, I pretty much follow them back. So yeah,
Hmm.
Twitter's kind of fun, but hey, use it with a grain of salt, sparingly. But
Right.
other places to
Right.
find Amie Scheitel?
I'm also on Instagram. But I would say more so for me, probably Facebook is where I post more of the musical things. Instagram is kind of, more of a basic person type stuff. But and then my song New Hope Road is out there on Apple Music and iTunes and all the other, Pandora and all that other stuff that they put it on. I also have, the CDs. So the CDs, if somebody wants one, they kind of just got to hit me up on Facebook and ask for one.
An
I don't
actual
have them listed
physical
online or anything
CD.
yet, but
An actual
yeah.
physical CD. Who printed those for you, or who made those for you?
Um, uh, so it was, oh, I'm going to get it wrong.
I'll put you on the spot.
Not on here. Yeah. It was, okay. So ISSA referred me to this guy who was doing CDs for a really great promotional price. And so I messaged him and he did these for me. And he does a really good job. I'm just trying to find his name really quick because my brain fog doesn't hold on to all these names sometimes.
Hey, giving credit what
Um,
credit is due. That's a wonderful thing, But certainly, if I put you on the spot with a question, don't. Hey, people that are out there helping out Amie Scheitel, don't get mad if she doesn't remember your name right off.
by the way, Lee Schofield, he's the one that did these CDs for me, and he does a great job. He sends them all nice, professional, and shrink wrapped and everything, and does a really good job with all that. So for newbies like me that want to get some CDs, he's a great person to go to. He's done mass orders for other artists. I've seen him post where he's got a lot of CDs for people. So yeah, Lee Schofield, he's on my Facebook. If you look at my friends list, he's on there.
Well, Amie
So
Scheitel,
yeah.
me being of a certain age, I remember going to the record store and picking up record albums. One of the greatest things, yeah, you can get a song on any kind of media nowadays, but one of the great things about picking up a record album was the artwork, and then you open it up, and there's some liner notes and maybe a little history about who Amie Scheitel is. This nice big giant. It's almost a poster that you can look at and enjoy, and now the CD got smaller. Okay, there's still some artwork. There's still something tangible to that. Holding a CD in your hands, open it up. Oh, look at that. There's some liner notes. There's a little picture of Amie Scheitel there. But with digital media, that has gone almost to here's the song, go.
Right.
There's no
Yeah,
artwork.
I didn't think CDs were still, um, a thing really, but they actually are. It's I'd say like my mom's age and up, they appreciate CDs and want CDs. They're the ones that were asking me for CDs, so that's kind of why I got some, is because they were asking, and you know, if they're asking for it, I want to give it to them. So.
Yeah, I was looking around behind me. I have some CDs that people that I've had on the podcast or people have just sent to me, and wow, this is great. I have something tangible, something to hold
Mhm.
from them, and it's a nice little memory, a nice keepsake. Of course, I'm going to play my digital media still. If I'm out of the show, I'm going to play Amie
Right.
Scheitel off my computer, off my virtual DJ equipment with my little turntables, but it's nice to have that in your hands, and I guess that's like books too. Books are going away. Everybody's using digital media, digital forms of books. And me, whenever I say I've read a book, I haven't read a book. I've listened to it on audio. you know. So, and are you doing any shows outside? Do you take your music and go do shows? Because I know when I do karaoke shows and there's an artist, they'll hit me up and say, hey, I have this new song. Can I perform it at your karaoke show? And I'll say, yeah, make a big deal. Ladies and gentlemen, Amie Scheitel, hometown girl. Here she is at the karaoke show. This ain't karaoke. This is a live song. This is her song that she writ out of her head, about her
Right.
life and her family. Here she is, Amie Scheitel. Do you do any of that stuff?
Not yet. I want to, and I hope to. But I kind of started this whole journey just right before that coronavirus kind of started coming out, and so I haven't gotten out to do any kind of live performing or anything like that. But I do hope to do that, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, thankfully, over the last few weeks, my regular karaoke show on Friday nights has opened up. We're using precautions. I got plenty of handy wipes. Wipe down the microphones after every use. Put a mask on if you're talking to somebody face to face. Hand sanitizer everywhere. Wash your hands. You should have been doing that anyway. Wash your hands,
But
people.
yeah.
But has any karaoke opened up for you lately?
They do have karaoke here locally, but they actually haven't had any of it since right before, yeah, the coronavirus kind of put a hold on all that. So, um, yeah, I'm in between all these counties that have all these different rules. What one county it does just started a mask mandate. The other county, well, the other state, Washington, just started where you are supposed to be masked anytime you're outside. Um,
I
I'm
thought
two
that was
minutes from the
DC.
Idaho border, also. So it's kind of hard to get to do karaoke though, or any kind of live music is taking a hit from all these, you know, regulations and things.
Yeah,
So
the latest thing has been I've never even heard of it. You mentioned Jennifer Malott in the beginning. She took over my Facebook page, and to my I guess 3,000 plus fans, I guess, and this gives them a little bit more exposure to other people that they wouldn't have had on their own Facebook pages. I give them editor rights to my Facebook page. They take over. They put up a little PayPal or Cash App, a virtual tip bucket there, and away they go. They'll play for an hour or so, and hopefully somebody throws some money in their bucket so they can keep on going. Yes, I know singers and songwriters, they don't do it because of the money. I do it for the love of the music, but you need to have that money so you can take care of your 6 kids. You got to have that,
right.
so you can have that nice roof over your head. And what do you? I know I haven't. I didn't forget. What are you going to do with those 200 pictures that you just printed?
I'm giving some to some other family, but I'm putting them in old-fashioned photo albums
That is
where you
so
can flip
cool.
through and look at them.
Something
Yeah,
that will become a
yeah,
family heirloom for years to come. When they say, Grandma Amy had these albums, and you're passing them on to your own grandkids and great grandkids and great great grandkids. Hope you live forever and ever. I know that there's scientists that are working on that, curing age, treating it
Yep.
like a
Yep.
disease. We can live to 200, maybe 300 years old because they're curing
Hmm.
age and hopefully Alzheimer's and all the ailments that you're going through. No more pain,
Yep.
people. Come on, there's scientists
Yep.
out there, and I appreciate that. I've taken a lot of your time, Amie Scheitel, on a Saturday morning. You woke up early for me. I got you up an hour or two early. You actually, when you wake up at 10 or 11, that's the life of a musician. You know, you go to work at 9 p.m. and you go to bed around the time the sun comes up, and then you wake up somewhere around
Right.
noon. That's a life of a musician right there.
Yep.
All right. Any other avenues you want to explore?
Uh, no, I think that's it.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got it. All right. Usually I finish these things off with last words for the people. Amie Scheitel, this could be something, words to live by, something your family told you, or some, friend, or a mantra that you have, or it could be something that just pops up right now at this moment in time. Amie Scheitel, last words for the people.
To go with my song that's coming out, just remember to always, no matter what you're going through, to try to look at the glass half full and find, the positive in the situation. And, if you're able to look at the positive side of things, it helps for a brighter future.
Well, there you have it, party people. Amie Scheitel. That girl's got some experience. She's had some life knowledge, some life experience, some adventures in her life. Life is an adventure, and everybody has a story. And Amie Scheitel, you have a story. And one of the cool things about your story is you can take those ideas and images and past experiences, put them into words, put them into music. That's fantastic. And you have a great team that helps you through to get those words out and make them into song. And we get to be the beneficiary of those joint ventures that you have with your collaborators. Thank you so much, Amie Scheitel, for telling a little bit about your story and opening up a bit about who you are and how you came to be and how you came to be doing what you do. Some things were, it could be looked at as oh my goodness, she got this ailment and now she has to quit her job. No, you just turn those energies into something else, something that can be enjoyed by other people. You turned some people write books, some people write songs, and you write songs. I appreciate that so much. And I enjoyed the songs. I knew it was a story. I didn't know it was your story in that New Hope song, but it is. It's a part of your story. A way that you keep your grandparents alive forever and ever through your song. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Something that you can do. I can't do it. I mean, I could probably do it if I put my mind to it, but I have other things I want to do. I want to promote other people, and that's what I do on the What Makes You Famous podcast. And I thank you for being a part of it, Miss Amie Scheitel. All right, party people. Well, if you'd like to tell your story, yes, I'm turning my attention to you, the loyal listener. If you'd like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call at 501-470-6386 or email info@radiowhat.com. That's it for me. It's KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.